on May 16, the UFC had an Apex card that no one watched because everyone was watching Netflix, MMA slash MVP, including me. So I didn't watch that card except for the main event, which was very fun. But anyways, they cut one of that night's winners, number 5 ranked at women's bantamweight, Ketlen Viera, the Brazilian bantamweight woman, which won that fight. Um, and she never had the funnest fights, to be honest. I did watch her fight a few times. For example, when she beat Holly Holmes, that was not a fun watch, but she did what she had to do to get the win. Um, I don't think the UFC is making a good move here, cutting her, because the women's bantamweight division is so shallow already, and they cutting people in the top 5, the top 10. They cut Maida Bueno Silva, who challenged for the title not too long ago. Granted, Maida Bueno Silva was in a 4-5 losing streak, and she looked awful on all those fights. But that wasn't the case for Ketlen Viera. And I don't like the way the UFC has been doing this, especially in the past year. I've been seeing it a lot. They're going away from meritocracy and going more towards entertainment focus. The problem with this is, if the UFC prides themselves of having the best fighters and being where all the best fighters come to fight to find out who's the best, if they keep cutting fighters on winning streak, what does that say about the sport? What does that say about the UFC's stature in the MMA world? It doesn't say anything good. Doesn't say anything good. Matter of fact, most notable, the most notable cases I remember of is back 2025. Here's an article from MMA Fighting, August 7, 2020, year 2025. They cut Mohamed Mokaev, undefeated fighter, undefeated prospect. Well, almost not a prospect at that point. He was almost gonna fight for the title when they cut him. Granted, he had a lot of things he did outside the cage that weren't of my taste. So he definitely has some heat with the promotion there. But he seemed like a really immature and entitled guy. But anyways, he was talented, or he is talented. UFC never re-signed his contract. They let him go fight in other promotions. He's done that. He's still winning. Maybe he'll come back. But my point is, he was very young when they did that. There was no point on doing that. They kept fighters in the UFC that done much worse things. John Jones, John Jones, Conor McGregor. Granted, those are draws. But it goes back to my point, man. You're supposed to be, the most prestigious promotion where all the fighters are, where the best fighters are. And I don't think that's the case anymore. It's not going to be the case anymore, especially now with this new Paramount deal. They want people who are finishers and who have fun fights. It doesn't matter if you're on a winning streak. It's going to be tough for these new kids coming up to make it to the UFC, man. And in the long run, it's going to affect the promotion. Hey, people are trying to build new leagues. Will they be successful? I don't know, but they're trying. There's been recently news of former Bellator and Strikeforce promoter Scott Coker coming back to the game, raising $60 million to start a new promotion. We had Netflix MVP recently start doing MMA in Netflix. So if the UFC keeps letting these high level guys go, man, they're giving other promotions a chance to make it, which it's better for the sport if there's competition. That way the UFC is motivated to make better fights. But if I am the UFC, man, I'm not doing that. I'm not cutting fighters on a winning streak. Doesn't matter if they're boring. Now there's levels of boring. If you're just like literally stalling against the cage, like all your fights are like that. Remember, if you had one fight like that, it does, that's not that big of a deal. But if all your fights are like pushing the guy against the cage, little knees to the thigh, stalling position, like taking guys to the ground and just laying on them, not advancing position, not looking for submission, not delivering meaningful ground and pound, then okay, fine. By the way, that's how Ketlen Viera defeated Holly Holmes, but I think he only did that once. Then he fought Kayla Harrison as a title eliminator. Kayla Harrison ended up fighting for the title after beating Ketlen Viera. Ketlen Viera gave Kayla her hardest fight in the UFC, and she still gets cut, man. This is what I mean. This thing, it just makes no sense. Another fighter I was even more in like surprised that they cut, and and I was disappointed that they cut, was Renat Fakhretdinov. Man, look at this guy. 34 years old when they cut him, fighting at 170 pounds. He had 7 fights in the UFC, 1 draw. Were they all super exciting? No, but most of them were. This guy is a madman. He would have a high output striking. He would finish a couple of guys. His last fight, he finished Andreas Gustafsson, a guy who had a little bit of hype behind him. He finished him, and he still got cut, or they didn't re-sign him. Why? I don't know. This guy had a lot of talent, right on his prime, 34 years old. They could have at least gave him a chance at a ranked guy, which they never did. And I don't understand why. Freaking also recently, Javid Basharat, another guy on a winning streak. Another guy who's not a finisher, but very talented. Got caught or not re-signed recently. One of the Basharat brothers. I believe his brother's still in the UFC, by the way. Yeah, man, it's just shameful. UFC should do better. Eventually, if they keep doing this, eventually they will lose their prestigious title as the best promotion in the game with the most talented fighters. Didn't Dana say to Francis Ngannou, hey, we offer him a bunch of money to fight John Jones, and then the rest of his fights were gonna be on a decent contract as well, but Francis wanted to go on to move on from the promotion to go on the PFL and have easier fights. Francis didn't want to have the toughest fights in the UFC. Really, bro? Is that what's going on? I don't think so, man. It's just they keep contradicting themselves. They're not going on a good path, and I hope this doesn't keep going on for long, man, because the MMA fan base is starting to catch on, and yeah, they're starting to peep, and this might turn off a lot of fans. It's definitely turning me off a little bit. I mean, I'm not gonna stop watching, but I don't like it. Freaking, the whole thing with undeserved title shots to Diego Lopez. As much as I love him, as much as that KO against Gene Silva was super cool with the spinning elbow, and that fight rocked, he didn't deserve the title shot, man. They already skipped. So Evloev, Movsar Evloev, was supposed to get a freaking title shot a long time ago, undefeated fighter. He beat Diego Lopez already on Diego Lopez's UFC debut. He beat him. Diego Lopez still got the title shot before Evloev, and got to fight for the title for the second time before Evloev. Come on, in what world, man? This is becoming WWE it doesn't help and it doesn't look good that now WWE and UFC have the same parent company. I feel like before the UFC, because they're so big, they didn't care who wins and who loses on any fight. Yeah, sure, they will like some guys to get the win over some other guys. It will be better for them, but they never really cared. I feel like now they really care. I don't know if it was something about the Paramount deal. Did they promise to deliver, I don't know, finishes? I don't know if that's something you can put on the contract. I don't know, man. It's just really weird to me. But I hope this doesn't keep going on. I hope things change for the better. I don't know. Do you guys like when they cut people on winning streaks? Does that look good for the sport, for the UFC? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think so, but you guys tell me. Like, subscribe, dislike if you don't like the video. So good. I'll see you in another one. Yo, and I forgot to mention Jelton Almeida, UFC ranked top 10 UFC heavyweight who was cut this year. He was on a 2-fight losing streak when he was cut, but the UFC heavyweight division is super shallow right now. They need all the help that they can get. They still cut him. Even though he's one of the only few UFC fighters, I mean heavyweight UFC fighters that are not just completely fat and look like that don't look like athletes. This guy actually was ripped and jacked. He was actually a smaller heavyweight, used to be a light heavyweight, and they still caught him. The crazy part, he signed a brand new contract right before that fight, right before his last fight. So he had one fight left on his old contract, signed a new one to fight Kuniev on short notice, and still got cut after after that one bad performance. Again, granted, he also had other bad performances, but it's the heavyweight division, man. UFC, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? You can have other incentives. Like never, he had performances bonuses before. Don't I don't know. Don't give him another performance bonus until after like 3-4 good fights of his. But especially for the heavyweight division, I don't think it was the right move to cut him, even after a 2-fight losing streak. Freaking Tai Tuivasa lost 7 fights in a row, still on the contract. Supposedly he's a big draw, at least in Australia. He can pull some numbers, but we don't even have pay-per-views anymore. What are we doing? Keep Jelton, cut Ty. Maybe Ty can get a couple wins in the regional scene and come back, but no, UFC, you can't do that, right?